Hi there. Welcome again to Halibbebsparentingspot. I am often amazed at the different forms that sibling rivalry can take and how original and cruel some children can be to their siblings. Some of the ways that children provoke one another includes, but it's not limited to name calling, blaming, arguing, grabbing, simply looking at each other with what I call the mean stare. They can tattling, they can break something that belongs to the other person, throwing things at each other. They can go as far as hide something that is really important to the other person. Sibling competitions, sibling rivalry, or however you want to call them, is not fun. And honestly, it doesn't really matter how large or small the age difference is between your two kids, they're still going to fight. I call it divide and conquer. It's something that where you can put one child in one end of your house and you can put the other one in the other end of your house. And as soon as you turn around, it's like a magnet pulling them back towards each other. And before you know it, they are fighting. So even that divide and conquer needed work or time. But we have to keep in mind that the major reason why this happens, why they fight, is every child is trying to define who they are as an individual, in an effort to show they are separate from their sibling. So it is common for siblings to fight because most of the time, for 1 minute they love each other, and for the next minute they don't want to see each other. Some children are lucky enough to become best friends with your siblings. I know it can be very frustrating. It can be upsetting to watch and hear your children fight all the time because eventually it becomes a stressful environment for everyone in the household. So imagine how stressful it is also for a child to be in an environment where the adults are always fighting. It is even worse for the child because they have no control over the situation and they have no way to stop it. So sometimes it gets worse when one child is a teenager who at that stage in their life, in their development, they're developing a stronger sense of individuality and independence, where they tend to resent playing with the younger sibling, or sometimes they might avoid them, avoid getting in contact with them altogether. So all of these differences can influence the way your children fight with one another, whether na karate or na kickboxing. I'm just joking, but we hope it never gets too physical. Some other things that we should keep in mind whenever the fighting is, don't get involved as a parent. So step in only if there is a danger to physical harm to one or both of them. So if you always intervene in their fights, you are not giving them a chance for them to learn to work out their problems on their own. So if you're concerned about the language they use or the name calling, it's good to talk to them about using appropriate words during their unpleasant interactions. So if you do decide to get involved, then encourage them to resolve the problem themselves. So if you do step in, try to resolve the problem with them and not for them. It is too, if it gets too heated, separate them until they're calm. If you want to make this a learning experience, do the exact same thing that you would do if it were a fight between you and your spouse. Wait until the emotions have died down, then you can have a civilized conversation with your kid. So it takes two to fight. So anyone who is involved is partly responsible. So it just means they have to try and find a way of getting past that and still um, working towards a common goal, working together as siblings, just like you would resolve a conflict with your spouse. We have to remember that they are learning from how we resolve our own conflicts as adults, such that when we give them the support that they need, they will be able to resolve their own dispute. They are learning important skills while they do that, skills that will serve them for life, like how to value some other person's perspective, how to compromise and to negotiate, and how to control aggressive impulses, which is the cause of domestic violence in most homes, the lack of impulse control by adults. So anyways, set ground rules for acceptable behavior with your children, if they have to interact in a positive way. Tell your kids to keep their hands to themselves, and that there's no cursing, there is no yelling, there is no door slamming. You can even go as far as solicit their input into the rules, as well as the consequences when they break them. So that way you are teaching them that they are responsible for their own actions regardless of the situation. So also, if you want to make sure that there are no fighting as a way, they're not fighting as a way of seeking your attention as a parent, so you can schedule time to spend with them regularly, have fun together as a family, whether you're going for a walk or you're watching a movie, such that you are establishing a peaceful way for your children to always spend time together and relate to each other, such that it eases the tension between them. And remember to recognize and acknowledge when they make an effort and there is no fighting, and just try to praise them for that. In some families, the conflict between siblings is so severe that it disrupts the daily functioning, or it particularly affects the emotional or psychological well-being of the children and of the other people in the home. In such cases, it is always wise to get help from a mental health professional, and it is okay. It's okay, because why wait? I suggest it's okay to seek help for sibling conflict if it is so severe that it is leading to marital problems between the parents. If it creates a real danger of physical harm to any member of the family, if it is damaging to the self-esteem or psychological well-being of the family members in any way, if it is related to other significant concerns, such as depression. So that is my take on this. There's a lot more like information out there about sibling rivalry, but hit the like button if this video relates to you in any way, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.